All right, folks, let's go ahead and get started with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. Wait, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Okay, roll call. Greg Smith, he's absent tonight. Lori Quinn.
Here.
Mike Schneider.
Here.
Adrian Saunders.
Here.
Robin Simpson.
Present. Here.
And Jason Osborne. Here. We have a quorum. Thank you very much for your attendance tonight. First thing we want to do is review and then approval of the minutes for November 7th of 2024 meeting. Be found under, tab 4.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as submitted.
We have a motion on the floor to approve the minutes of November 7th. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion, a second on the floor to approve the board meeting minutes for November 7th. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries. The minutes are approved. Next thing we have on the agenda will be the mayor's report. You'll find under tab 5. The first thing will be the Clarence Can Coastal Water Commission. This is a repayment agreement for the engineering expenses. An ordinance was passed by the previous board to approve payment of those engineering fees if the city chose not to continue with that project. The board previously decided not to move forward with the project at this time, in which case we have an invoice here for the total engineering cost of $271,637.09. We worked with them to try to develop an appropriate term and payment that was acceptable to them. What they have given to us, you will see in front of you. Payments will be beginning, oh goodness gracious,
January 2025.
Yes, January 1st, or January of 2020, January 1st of 2025. They're looking at monthly payments in the amount of $5,625. The interest rate will be 4.75%. This is for a 4-year term. I attempted to get it for much longer, but they chose not to accept my proposal and came back with a counter proposal. And so, I know the board previously authorized the mayor's office to negotiate with them on this. Obviously, before I can sign it, I have to have the board's permission to do so. And any questions you would have, we would now entertain.
We can prepay, correct?
Absolutely. Yes. They'll accept prepayment without penalty at any time.
So when we win the lottery, we can.
Absolutely. Or some other.
I'll make a motion to approve the payment agreement with Clarence Can Coastal Water Commission.
Okay, we have a motion second on the floor to approve this repayment plan with the Clarence Can Coastal Water Commission. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Okay, the motion carries. Thank you very much. There are a couple more items we need to discuss. The building inspector, also you'll see that we have, bottom line is in recognition that it's 2024. This is it's a part-time job. We modified the it's called a stipend, I think, in the ordinance, but monthly would be the cost, the monthly compensation for a building inspector would be $600 plus 50% of the building permits. That's just the building permits, none of the other permitting or fee, just the building permits. And so what we'd like to do is we'd like for the board to consider approving this job description and the salary as salary or compensation as proposed within this building inspector job title.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion on the floor to improve the this document, which is a job title for the building inspector, which contains the description, requirements of salary, and how to apply. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion second on the floor to improve the building inspector job title, description, requirements, salary, and how to apply. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no. Motion carries. Thank you very, very much. Monday of next week, Dan Stokes, the Director of Engineering for MPUA, and Kevin, I can't think of his last name, is one of their senior people, are going to be back to assist our electric department personnel. They're putting together a plan to install some poles and some switches that would allow us to recover from a similar situation that happened a couple of weeks ago as fast as it takes to throw 3 switches. I'm not quite sure what the cost is going to be yet, but I don't expect it to be significant. I think it'll be fairly low cost.
Low or?
Fairly low, probably under $5,000 easily. Under maybe less, a lot less than that. I just don't know yet. We have a little more homework to do. That not I, but they do, to give us our recommendation. One of the devices that caused some issues during this last outage was it's a breaker, a 2,000 amp breaker, and it feeds all the other circuits in town. And that device created some problems for us. This redundancy system that they're planning on putting in would bypass that. In addition, we're going to be getting cost to obtain, that's saying we're not going to buy one yet, but we're going to get the cost to obtain a second, it's called a General Electric Magna Blast. It's a breaker, a 2,000 amp breaker. These are 1970s version for 4160 volts, and so we're going to have Eaton take a look. They can find one, they can refurbish one, it'll be tested and ready to go in case we need one. Whether or not we do that depends upon the outcome next week with MPUA, whether or not we even need to have that. And so I'll be able to report back on that back later.
Can I ask you a question on just in general, because I don't know, like if we have to call them in to assist, what is our cost that we pay?
Zero.
We pay nothing to have them?
Nothing at this point in time. Now, if we call them in to work on a very specific engineered plan program, which we're going to, I don't expect you all to recall this, but step 2 or 3 in our five point plan we put back together in May. I come back to you guys and explain to you that we weren't really in a position, nor should we, move forward with the $8.3 million Eaton Phase 1 project or the following $3.4 million Phase 2 Eaton project, because after review by MPUA, they felt it was unnecessary at this time to do that. That there were other ways to accomplish the redundancy and stability without putting the city on the hook for $13 million, which quite frankly, I don't know how we repay. And that should be very straightforward. But part of that was for them to come in, being MPUA, to bring in qualified personnel to replace the underground lines between the Davis Street substation and the plant. there's been at least one of those wires has shorted out and needs to be replaced. So you're talking about some extremely high voltage, these wires this big around, and it requires the right equipment, the right people, the right skill sets to do this. So one of the, I think point 2 or 3 was to have MPUA run the project with their people because they have the expertise and the knowledge to do so, and pull those wires out and replace all those wires out underground. That goes from the north side of the road underground and into the Davis Street substation. But all this work they're doing, they came in and they were here for many hours during the outage. It cost us zero.
Okay.
They were here last week doing a review for us, as well as doing some splitting, installing some meters on some high voltage lines out by where I guess you'd call them Missouri Metalcraft and those other facilities out there, because they're wanting to get those separated. It's all free. This is part of what we pay for every month. When we purchase our electricity through MPUA, we purchase our natural gas through MPUA. They provide a tremendous number of services and assistance to their subscribers, and we're still able to provide these services at a competitive rate based on all the studies that I've looked at. So yeah, it's a big help to us. That along with we have mutual aid agreements with other cities like Palmar, Shelbina, Paris, and other communities. So if we were to get into a big pickle, we have plenty of resources that we can call upon to help us out. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Danette, am I missing anything? A couple of things. We're going to go out and run ads for the building inspector, obviously. We're also going to, I'm going to ask the board tonight to allow us to go ahead without the benefit of having it in front of us. We're going to pull up a job description requirements and et cetera, for the well, I'm going to use a different phrase, the electric department supervisor. And we're going to go ahead and get that prepared. We'll have to come back and have a discussion because we're going to have to talk about compensation. I've been made aware of what journeymen are paid in Palmar and Northeast Power, and in order to get a qualified individual, we're going to have to revisit the compensation for that position.
Is that the salary ranges? Is that something MPUA would know as well for localities such as ours, population size? Do they do any salary? I didn't know. Sometimes they do.
Sometimes MML does
Yeah.
the salary studies too.
Yeah.
So I can check with
Yeah,
them.
we can get all that stuff put together if you got that.
Just be interesting to know
Uh-huh.
on all of our departments, actually.
I called around, talked to some various individuals in other municipalities about what their journeymen were being paid. It's going to be an eye opener, and I'll leave it at that. I think, Danette, is there anything else I need to be bringing up tonight?
We were going to see about setting up a budget work session.
Absolutely, thank you. Did I hand you a budget? Did I give one to you guys?
Is it the same
Yeah,
thing
I got one.
email or?
Well, I'll print them out. Did I give you one?
Mhm.
Okay. I got one here, Greg. Do you have one obviously already? We want to set up a meeting to go over this and be able to talk about the details of it. We need to have I know Greg, it's really difficult for him to get here before 6 p.m. at night. I'm open to whatever is the most convenient for the board members. I'm not constrained so much. I don't want to do it after midnight, but anything before midnight will be good. So I'd like to do this as quickly as possible. I know next week is a holiday week. I don't think that's going to happen at all. We've got several people, including city clerks, out for a few days for the holiday. How about the following week, which would be the week of
Board meeting, yeah. I can do December 3rd, which is Tuesday.
December 3rd on a Tuesday? What will work for you guys?
else?
What time? Evening?
6 for Greg?
December 2nd?
December 3rd.
Third would be a
Third.
Tuesday.
I can do that.
6 o'clock?
Yeah, that would work for
Yeah.
Greg at least.
Okay, let's get that scheduled and we'll get that out to everybody. Is that okay with you?
Mm-hmm.
On the budgets, do we have to have like a public hearing or anything so that people can see it, or do we?
We don't have to have a public hearing, we will need an ordinance that will pass approving the expenses for the
Okay.
budget year.
We don't have to post it?
The work session will be an open meeting,
Okay,
so the public's welcome to attend there.
We'll get it posted ahead of time,
Yeah.
per the order of statutes, and, it'll be open to the public to attend. We'll go over all of the budget items, we'll talk about, revenue replacement methodologies, and see where we end up at. And I won't belabor that anymore tonight, unless y'all have specific questions on that. Anything else you can think of that we need to cover in the mayor's report? I think that's pretty much it. Next, item on the agenda will be the city clerk's report under tab 6.
Just have a few things, our new employee is going to start Monday, so we're looking forward to that. I've been working with Williams Keepers on the payroll audit. Unfortunately, I've discovered that for the first, second, and third quarters of 2003, no one filed our 941s.
Of what year? Of what year? 2023?
2023.
Oh my, what does that mean to us?
Well, we're gonna owe lots of penalties, to the IRS, I'm sure. I haven't got a chance to look into our quarterly unemployment reports or anything like that yet to see if they were done, which I'm gonna say that we were not, so. That's gonna be another fork in the road, so. The fourth quarter was filed because we were with Tession during that time. So we did get that filed. I went through and I was able to get all of my totals for each 941. I have submitted everything to Williams Keepers, waiting to hear back from them to see if they need anything else from me. So other than that, it's probably complete, hopefully.
and payroll audit is for, I forget,
Myrna.
okay, yeah.
Our premium is based on our payroll. April 8th election, the filing dates are December 10th through December 31st.
Y'all.
Y'all. Who is it? Me, I'm on you. You're
All three.
All three,
That
yeah.
whole side.
That whole.
What about the whole
He's the
side?
new familiar, new.
Don't be
faces.
quitters, do not be quitters.
Oh, no. Are you quitting? We'll talk later. Okay, what else?
Just want to give you all a quick update. I did send an email out earlier this week regarding our meter obstruction ordinance. We're getting a lot of feedback from residents. We are following the ordinance as it specifies to follow.
On the
Residents
ones that are, I've just seen some, they probably have known this isn't a first.
Yes,
Correct.
We did have to turn off, when we were able to access the meters, they did shut off 3 gas meters. And they've been in the office this week, and it hasn't been pleasant, I'll just tell you that, but we have to follow it. I mean, we all have to be on the same page, if that's an ordinance that we want to have in town, that's what we gotta do, so.
Well,
I
it's
think
not, if we want to, by law, we have to,
we have
right?
to,
It's
yeah.
not like
Yeah.
we choose to do this.
What do you say, it's not optional?
It's
It's a
not-
federal law.
Well, once we
Federal and
passed an
state law.
ordinance,
Yeah.
And we had to turn off another gas today, and we've already heard that they'll be in the morning, so it probably won't be pleasant.
And how, I mean, if people don't come to the council meeting or watch my YouTube, what have we done to notify residents as far as this is a change and this is what we expect?
I have heard a complaint about how, and I know we posted, but, yeah, how do they know that this is the new ordinance?
If there was someone, and step in if you need to, maybe, Alex, if there was someone that was a repeat offender, the guys were supposed to have posted something on the door to let them know that this ordinance is in full effect and this is what needs to be done. Some of the guys, I don't know if they all, we don't know, of course, what happens out in the field, and I don't want to assume that didn't happen either, but some of our residents are saying they've never been notified of this ordinance. So I did I messaged the Lake Gazette to get it put back in there, and I'm gonna send it to Hannibal Courier Post and have it put in Saturday's publication as well. Wondering if we could get you to put it on the front page of our webpage.
The front page is a nightmare to
Is it?
change anything on. All the other pages I can,
Okay.
but the front page is like totally different than the rest of them, so.
Can we put
I mean, the ordinance
Is
was
Terry
passed in
down?
August, so it's
Just-
not a,
Right.
He should
It's actually
actually.
Yes, Chief.
Fix employees.
I would point out that on our webpage as well as Unicode, every link and everything for ordinances does not have this in it. So it is nowhere posted, and we have nothing but full information on the city's website as far as this ordinance.
We're still at.
the code that's currently on the website is the one that's dated from 2022.
Right.
So of course it doesn't include anything that's been passed since that point in
Well,
time.
you have to go on Muni, go to online and see that.
And
Now, where are we at?
On Unicode as well, it is posted with the old information.
Right, because it won't be updated until, what, 3 months?
Something like that.
About 3 months. We put in for the automatic updates, and you've already sent them all the,
They haven't sent me the link to send that yet. They're still cleaning up all of our old stuff.
See, this is the problem.
I know, it's hard, it's a sticky situation.
as soon as we
Well-
find out what the last ordinance was they received, we can easily get them what they need to pick up where they left off.
I'm almost thinking to do something with our webpage and say it's no longer available, it's under
Yeah.
construction. Because I would rather have no information on there than the wrong information.
And force them to call up and ask for the correct information.
Yeah, it's almost like it just
I like
needs
it.
to
I
be.
agree.
Can we put a hot button or something on our homepage to keep them current, to take them to another page, to see all of the current
Where is the current?
ordinances?
I don't know that we have current.
Okay.
It's not up and running yet, the new page isn't up and
Okay.
running.
It's not-
Gotcha.
It's what, halfway there, you think?
It's halfway through
Well,
the
if they ask the
publication
public,
process and our
should
new
we want
website,
to
just
post
reach
it
phase
first?
2.
He should.
I mean, I can get them to put a alert on the homepage, but I've yet to figure it out, but we can get with them, with, our current provider and have them do that, and I can, scan that in so they can see the newest.
I think my concern is that if they're not being, if they don't really know
Yeah.
about the ordinance, then I feel bad, because they really don't know.
Yeah.
You
We're,
might-
the only thing we would definitely need our webpage for would be for payments though.
Oh.
We do have a
Yeah.
lot of customers that do credit card payments through our webpage, so if we could somehow, work to maybe get some links removed.
Yeah, I can
that is old.
delete links if you need.
Huh,
I can delete old links if there are some,
okay.
yeah.
they'll probably have to get together and talk about
Yeah.
this at a different time.
We're not gonna be able to notify everybody all the time.
But we notified everybody one time, then it's on.
Yes.
Post it on their front door, I mean.
Is it,
Well,
that's what I'm
I
asking.
thought we did a mail, I thought we did a
Because
mail.
they're saying they're not aware, so I just wanna know where
Did
is
we do
this?
mail out?
Alex,
We didn't
did not do a mass mailer in the
We did not do a mass mailer on the new
Not with that
ordinance?
ordinance.
Wouldn't Terry know if they posted or not?
What would it cost to do that?
Or the readers?
$2,000 every time we do a mass mailer.
To see the activity.
Board, what's your pleasure?
I think we have to.
What about
I feel like
notifying the
this is a
people
big
that,
enough change that we've got to do
I
something
do
so that
too.
we can say,
You
because
would
that
tell
is their complaint right now, and I don't disagree with it, really. I mean,
Make
I
a
don't
motion
know how
to
they
do
have a
that.
way to know.
So do we include all of the ordinances that have changed or been implemented in this one mass mailer?
That would be a significant.
That would be a significant, so how do we pick and choose?
Well, I think the one that's most important to, go ahead, Zach.
I can tell
Chief.
you that for state laws, and federal laws, just with the bills or the ordinances, statutes being passed, does not mean we can immediately enforce it. It has to be published for the public before we start enforcing those laws. So that might be something to look at into this as well.
That's on the
If
police
New
side
Code
was
has
talking.
a 3-month period, a 3-month lapse to get stuff there, then it might be, 3 months worth of warnings until we start stepping into that.
what is considered published?
Whenever it is officially on the books and is officially being published by a governmental agency.
But we don't know, we don't have a way to really publish it.
Is
Well, it's
the door notice
printed in
enough?
paper.
I don't think,
I mean, it's,
rightfully so, a door, I know that maybe we could check a box and say that that is legal, but everybody's just supposed to all the time come up here and check the front, I mean, that's not very fair, I don't think.
No, I'm talking about on their door.
Oh, okay. I thought we
And
were
what
pursuing
about the few people that we are having issues with? What about just sending notice to them?
No, we gotta do them all, I think.
Okay.
Because we're gonna have
Well,
issues
we-
with other.
We need to have the
We put
correct
the ordinance
information
on
and not the
ours.
word of mouth.
Right.
I would send a mass mailer.
I would too.
What about doing a mass mailer, but then doing certified to the hot list?
If we do a mass mailer, yeah.
Okay, so the only thing that, of all the orders we passed, that I can recall,
Well, like tonight, we're gonna be presenting bill number 16, so far this year, we've passed probably 15 ordinances.
but how many of,
How many of them would have financial
How many of them-
ties to
yes.
it, to the
how many of them would,
residents?
how many of them would affect individual? We passed some ordinances about, the city administrator passed ordinances about the Board of Aldermen. We've done a lot of procedural stuff, but the only one that really affects the pocketbook, if you want to call it that, of the people that we serve, would be the utility ordinance
And the building permits.
and the building permits. That's true. So we could do a mass mailer on the building permits and the utility ordinance. Anything else?
Mass mailer on what?
Robin thought we should, and Adrian thought we should do a mass mailing on the new utility ordinance.
We sent the utility ordinance out. The only one we haven't sent
Everyone
is
did
this
receive
one.
that, yes.
Wait a second.
So just the meter reading
The
one.
meter reading was the only one we didn't send out. The new ordinance
Okay.
with the changed dates and all that, was sent out with the mass mailer this summer.
But the one that
The one they're
says,
complaining about right now, they don't know anything
That
about.
is the different
That's
one.
not the utility ordinance?
That's not the utility, that's just the meter.
Okay, so I back up, I apologize.
me too.
We need to do a mass mailer on the ordinance that addresses the obstruction to the meters. What was the other one?
The building permits.
From
Building
fees.
permits. My bad, yes.
Now, I will say, this mass mailer will probably cost around $2,500 to $3,000. So,
And are we going to explain it, or are we just gonna send them the ordinance? Cause if we send them the long ordinance, they're not gonna read it. Is there some way that we can, like,
Yeah.
You want me to
put
get that
it in
paper?
layman's
put a cover
terms?
letter or something.
Put a cover letter
Put a couple
explaining
bullet
what they
points
mean.
there.
They're
and-
not gonna read
and,
it all.
Do you want me to go get that paper that we drew?
Plain
out,
language.
Put on the door?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, great.
So what do we do between now and then? Continue to enforce ordinance, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
I think we have to,
I don't know how we go back or not.
enforcing the ordinance.
But Zach said that we have to have published it for 3 months in order to enforce it.
that's on the criminal side.
That's on the
Criminal
police
side.
side.
Oh.
I'm not an expert in civil by
Okay.
any means, but on the criminal side, we typically hold off on enforcement until it is published by a government body.
Okay, that's good to know, thank you.
Phoebe's going down to get a letter. This is one of the letters we actually used today for one that we had to shut off, to let them know what the obstruction was and what needs to be corrected on their property. So she'll bring that up for you to look at.
And we send that to everyone that we've had to shut off, so that they know what the remedy is.
Okay, I have a question. I'm just going by, so if we shut it off, we post it and we shut it off at the same time?
Yes.
Would it be advantageous to post it, I know that's double, but so they don't really have any time to know, we're just saying, hey, we just shut you off.
Which
They,
is what our ordinance says.
but they posted before.
I feel like we should post it and shut it off the next day.
They
Because then they come in and they
They posted
they
the
have,
warnings.
okay, that's what, I need more.
Because the one complaint I read, they knew that they had to do these changes. They just didn't expect that by the second time that it was there and it was gonna happen.
I just want to be sure that we're giving them enough notice of a change, and that if they get home at 5 p.m. and we've shut off their gas or whatever, that now what are they gonna do? Because if we'd have told them the day before, I'm just,
Yeah, I understand.
I know, it's a lot of extra.
But these have been posted for a couple of months on the offenders already.
Okay.
Something like that.
Something,
Those,
this is what we just started
Yeah,
doing.
those are
Something,
just the new
something
ones,
of this sort.
they
Yes.
put
To
doorknob, not pay things on their doors,
Okay.
they putting
We're
letters on
talking 3
there.
months.
Hmm?
3 months we've done this.
Yes,
This doesn't talk about the crazy dogs, though.
Well, it's an
That's
obstruction.
Oh, okay.
let me ask you a question real quick.
I think you better mention
And we talked to Dennis
we need
about this, Dennis
specify
Kuzmeyer
dogs
said that it's all okay.
Whatever.
I'm
We're
sure
covered.
it is okay. I mean, I'm not doubting that, but it's just,
This is, I apologize, what does this again represent?
When we go shut them off, that's what the guys are taping on their doors after we shut them off, telling them what meter was blocked.
They'll mark electric, gas, or water, and they'll say the reason why it was shut off.
Do we need to specify dogs?
We talked about that
But
today.
that could be written down here where the obstruction is.
that's true.
Yeah, yeah.
I still think we need to, and I know, I don't know enough about it, but like,
Do-
I hate shut off, here's your notice. Like, I would like to have notice, tomorrow at 5 p.m. we're gonna shut you off.
But then we got labor involved in guys going over there that we've already had to go over there 3 times
I know.
to try to read a meter, then go back and put another note, then send them back. Then we're going to charge more than $40 reconnect fees. I mean, you're going to have to raise all those fees to get your labor covered.
I have a question. If this notice has been posted at your property, this means you have a meter obstruction, and it must be rectified immediately. The meter obstruction is, of course, it tells which one it is. What do they do after that? Do they call City Hall and say, I fixed it?
They will need to come in, and then our guys will need to go back out and inspect that it has been corrected.
Okay.
Now, we had a lady in this week, she assured me that it was gonna be corrected verbally, so I just added that to her account, that she showed us that, I'll put a note on her account. So, you know, future, if something comes up, then we did note that we did talk to her and she said it was gonna be corrected. And then they pay their reconnect fee, and then the guys will go out and turn it back on if it's been corrected.
Which ordinance addresses the dogs and fences and the lock
That one right
fences?
there,
It's
this
just
one that's on that paper.
This paper?
Yes.
Yeah. It just doesn't specifically say dogs, it says obstacles.
When you shut it off, the gas, do your employees have to go back in and light all the pipes?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a deal. The word is a real deal. Okay, anything else?
I want to make a motion that we send them out a
Oh, okay.
Oh,
We have-
okay.
We have a motion on the floor to sound the mass mailer to address,
Access to the meters.
yeah,
ordinance.
Articles 86.04.02, utility meters, access to meters to be unobstructed. Do we have a second?
Hold on, and also the new rates for the building permits and
Right.
Building permits.
Okay, and also to address the revised building permit fee structure.
Yeah, thank you. Whatever.
We have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second on the floor to send out a mass mailing to cover Article 86.04.02, utility meters, access to meters to be unobstructed, and also the new fee structures. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no or nay. Motion carries. Anything else?
Nothing.
All right. City attorney is absent tonight, so that'll take care of the city attorney's report unless there's something under 7.
Ron, I had a couple of things.
Okay?
There's been a few people, it's been a fence with a locked gate, and some people who were concerned about kids getting into the yard if it was just straight up unlocked. And I had the suggestion of, this is like a heavy-duty latch. If they put it more towards the top, you know, higher up on the gate where the kids couldn't reach it, and then to put one of these little plastic doodads on here, which is easy to take off, but then they would know that it had been opened. And then also to put a pool alarm on it so that it would sound an alarm if and when the door is open. And there's also a remote that they could turn it off from in the house. That way they would know not to let the dogs out for a few minutes. So just putting that out there.
Okay.
So,
Anything else, Mike?
no.
All right. We do not have any authorized guest speakers. Next thing will be the committee reports. First thing on here is planning and zoning. The meeting that we were going to have this week got canceled. That was because sufficient notification was not provided to the public. We're going to have a...
No, it was because the person couldn't be here. It was because the person couldn't be here, right?
You didn't have the paperwork to bring to the meeting.
Well, two things happened. First and foremost, that was unknown. They didn't close on the, there's two things that were supposed to happen. We were supposed to do a planning and zoning variance hearing, which was the initial reason for having the meeting. And a zoning variance hearing has to be published at least 7 days public notice prior to meeting. That didn't occur.
Okay.
So that was an administrative error on our part. That will occur, all right. And then we were also going to address an issue with Mr. View, I believe it was. And that information I don't think was available at that point in time. Is that correct? Or was Tom Bach? Was it Tom Bach? Who was it? It was Tom Bach. Sorry, Damon. Sorry, Damon. Tom Bach had something he wanted the board to review. I think it was building permit and the site planning review, and that didn't occur because he didn't have all his information done. So Mr. Shoemaker was the original reason, the zoning variance. And I talked to him today, and I believe he told me there was a delay in that as well. So what we've done is we've scheduled another meeting for the 27th, is that correct? At 6 p.m. There'll be a planning and zoning commission meeting. So those members on this board that are also members of that will need to hopefully be there. And we'll then address the zoning variance request and also Mr. Tom Bach's site plan.
That's the day before Thanksgiving. That's the day before Thanksgiving.
Is that what we scheduled it, Danette, the 27th? The planning and zoning?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
What about it? What was
That's
it?
the day before Thanksgiving. Yeah, but I mean, it's gotta get done.
We're running into the holiday season now.
Yeah.
It's going to
Absolutely.
get a little more of a challenge perhaps.
Yeah.
We'll get the notice out there, and if a quorum shows up, we'll have the meeting. If a quorum doesn't show up, we won't have the meeting. It happens. Next thing we have on the agenda is a report from Parks and Cemetery.
I thought I was gonna have a couple of committee members here tonight, but they aren't. This is the plan that we voted to adopt with a modification. It's Plan A. On this plan, this thing down there at the bottom that's called a, I can't
The
remember.
final colors
Tin spin,
TBD?
it's called a tin spin.
Oh, I see it.
Is that the modern day merry-go-round?
Yeah, I think so. But it requires a handicapped person to be taken out of their wheelchair and placed on it.
Right.
So yesterday morning, I called and Kurt Hutchinson and asked him if we could replace it with an item that's on Plan B, which is
Right, that's the one he and I talked about that has the revision for you don't have to get out of the wheelchair.
yeah, we asked him to replace it with the
Ground level spinner.
ground level spinner.
Right.
And when I asked him that, he said, "Oh, I don't know about that." He said, "That's $10,000 more money than the one you want to get rid of." And yeah, and so he suggested that we take out this freestanding shade. And I thought, you mean I didn't say this to him, but I thought that shade's going to cost $10,000.
No kidding.
Well, I think it must be, because he sent me back a revised bid that's the same as the other one. And he sent a new plan that shows the change that I wanted, or that we wanted.
So we just swapped out the shade for the
Right.
ground level spinner and not
Right.
the traditional.
And if we wanted a shade at some time, we
Can't we
could,
build a shade?
We could plant a tree.
I was just flabbergasted, but
Yeah.
anyway, if we wanted a shade, I mean, that's a cloth shade that I think a big wind might tear up anyway.
Did he mean by removing that one piece of equipment plus that shade would be
Yeah.
the price difference? I don't know.
Well, he agreed to put in what we wanted in the plan, and the bid he sent, dated November 20th, is the same dollar amount.
Did he take out the original spinner though?
He took out the tin spin, and
Yeah.
put in
So he
the,
took out that and the shade.
and the shade, and put in
So the combination of them is $10,000.
This rendering shows the changes, I think.
yes,
Mhm.
yeah, so,
Is the shade necessary for people with disabilities that don't have the ability to cool off?
There's a shade, well, that's a different one.
I
Isn't
think,
there another pavilion not that far?
well,
We
yes,
have a
the,
pavilion close.
the shelter is, the
It's right
shelter
there,
that's
isn't it?
there is gonna be right there
20
next to
feet
us.
away.
Okay,
That
that's
works.
all. Yeah, that
As long
works.
as we have sidewalks or
Yeah,
whatever.
absolutely.
Handicap
And
accessible.
eventually, there's gonna be handicap sidewalk leading right to that shelter.
Okay,
Then
that works.
We've covered all of our bases.
Yeah,
Right.
I like it. What do you
So
want? What do you want to do?
Well, his bid is 264,000, is that the bid?
Right.
And how much was the grant for, do you remember, Steve?
214 or something like that.
I'm sorry, what's that again?
214.
I didn't bring that with me.
Well, what was the question?
The
I
question
asked-
was, what was the grant value? And I
Well, the
think
bid
it was,
amounts is.
Well, the city's 50/50, the city's 207.
okay,
So that put the grant amount at 414.
Okay, so the bid amounts
That may
we
be right.
received were Hutchinson for the bid A was 264,000.
Mhm.
Hutchinson rec for the B plan, which he showed you down there, was $235,250.
Which does not include installation.
Right.
But if you add insulation, which was 27,000, then it's about the same amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
Also want to point out that that 27,000 is interesting dollar amount because originally it was 40-something, I think 48,000 to do the insulation. So I don't understand.
And then this one that he's holding here is from All Inclusive Rec,
Mm-hmm.
and that bid was for $499,900.
I didn't even take it to our committee meeting.
Yeah, that's.
So we have 3
And it's
bids.
fewer.
So we published, just for clarification, just for the public. We posted the bid request twice,
3 times.
3
Actually,
times.
4 times.
4 times.
Yes, I ran it.
And we
4
had,
times.
how many companies submitted?
3.
2.
This is it. Uh-huh.
So I know that when Mary's email was asking for the 3 bids, we did not receive 3 bids, having asked for bids 4 times.
And she sent out notices to, what's the right word, underprivileged,
Women-owned
Contract.
and
Yeah.
minority-owned.
minorities, yeah.
Minority-owned.
Okay.
Well, I think we've done our due diligence and
Oh,
solicitation.
yeah, absolutely. You are correct.
Well, there's only so many businesses
Kind of
that
specialized.
do this. I mean, it's not
Right.
something that's done every day. I mean,
So the other thing I need to mention is this bid has a December 7th deadline.
Mhm.
So the other thing, if you all approve this tonight, then tomorrow I've got to get this to Mary Kendrick
Okay,
so that she can send it on to
Do you
the
know?
grant people to approve it
okay.
so that we can have a firm commitment with them by December 7th.
Okay.
So you're,
Another problem that I have is, I was kind of hoping that the Pace building would be available, and it's not, to store this until summer, when it's installed. I asked, this is terrible,
Mindy Hayes?
Mindy Hayes,
So I was gonna
Thank you.
suggest,
to contact Dave Sparrow,
David Berry.
to
David Barrett.
David Barrett,
Barrett.
to see if that building would be available, and she hasn't gotten back to me. She, I think, seemed to think that could probably happen, but, so that's something we have to work on, because it's supposed to come in on a box truck, so it can't take up a whole lot of space, I don't think, rather than a semi, so.
So that price is only good till when?
December 7th,
The price is?
Yes,
yes.
yeah, it says pretty
So we-
good.
Mary didn't think it would take very long for them to say, yeah, go ahead, but still, that's only a couple of weeks.
That December 7th date is the date that that company,
Yes,
This bid is good until December 7th.
I don't think we were planning on spending that money this year.
we probably won't have to.
You won't
You're
actually
just
put that
locking in
out.
the bid.
You won't pay up front for it.
How much of it's due up front?
That's not in, it's not in here. I
Okay.
could have that conversation with Kurt, but I
All
think it'd be better if you did.
It's possible.
Okay, so
It probably is in here somewhere.
I think that's all I have on this topic.
So, well, so the board has to approve your committee's recommendation.
And your recommendation is Hutchinson Recreation and Design, correct?
It's option A.
I have some other things to inform you on if you wanna vote on this first.
I'll make a motion to authorize the purchase of equipment from Hutchinson Recreation and Design, proposal A, for $264,000.
May I ask for clarification, when are we going to actually issue a purchase order?
I'm sure, I was trying to look real quick.
On the second page of the terms, a 50% or 100% prepayment may be required.
But the money's in the park fund, correct, to do that. I don't know,
Should be.
why
Should be.
Your thoughts?
I mean, even if they require a deposit, are they gonna want it before the end of the year?
Well, they may if you accept it, but if, I don't understand if the money's in.
If the money's already
Why do
there.
we care if we pay it now?
Yeah,
I don't know right off the top of my head what the cash amount is in the park fund, but, chances are this would probably, the project would probably start next summer, next spring to summer, and would probably be completed.
This part would be completed, I think, by May or June.
Well, I suspect they're not going to allow you to purchase the equipment and receive it and store it
Without payment.
without payment.
Correct.
Most likely in full.
And is this just money that is not in their budget for this next year, right now? And that we need to look at putting in the budget?
It's in the budget.
It is in their budget,
Yes.
okay.
And once we purchase it, the grant will reimburse us, correct?
50%.
50%. So we're out.
50%. So
We're out
the total is
132,000.
300,000. We get back 150 upon completion.
Could I go back to a conversation that I think we had here at one point? A year and a half ago or 2 years ago, our committee, the Parks and Cemetery, was supposed to have a little over, I think it was $220,000. That was before everything went south. I mean, at one time I had that on print in paper. I don't know that I wish I still did, but I don't think I do.
Pretty sure, when I looked at those numbers just recently, that was.
I
the
thought I
numbers
saw
that were
something
in the
too.
harvest budget.
And there should have been 2 more payments since then to the parks.
Yeah,
That's a budget.
yeah, well, but the actual for 23, 24.
Yeah, we don't even know they're right.
Yeah, the actual information for 23, 24 is highly suspect because of issues that occurred in 22, 23, which affected the expected or proposed, estimated beginning balances for 23, 24. Our estimate right now, and it's only an estimate, would be about 511.
511,000.
Yeah.
Unless
The cautionary discussion is, we had 207 in this budget for the North Park project for 2024, 2025.
that's,
And that was nearly one half of the grant.
that was the city.
Which is what it will essentially be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it'll actually probably be a little bit less than that. Well, I don't know. We still have yet to do the building for the restrooms.
And sidewalks and parking.
That's not part of the grant. Any of that is,
But it's the part that we are gonna be responsible for.
that's our in-kind,
Yeah.
that the
Yes.
city's, that's the city's
Yeah.
contribution.
Right.
By accepting, do we have to pay the 50% or just we give?
I haven't had a conversation with him about how much has to be paid when. But again, I think that's
sorry, what?
She asked about payment. I haven't had a conversation with him about how much when. I think that's a conversation that is more in your line of duty than mine.
So we have a motion on the floor to approve the option A bid. From Hutchison Recreation Design, do we have a second in the amount of $264,000?
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor to approve the bid from Hutchison Recreation Design in the amount of $264,000 for the North Park project. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries.
Thank you. Next thing I have is, I thought Greg was gonna be here tonight to talk about what's going on with the church roof. And
We do have the bid from, we do have those.
but did you get the information that you wanted? Greg said that you wanted more information.
Yeah, it specifies
Yes, it's
what
detailed.
material.
Oh, okay, all right. So that's kind of in your all's field now. Kevin and I, probably, labeled 8 or 9 trees at the South Lake, that people have purchased recently. And, Kevin and I are both anticipating that sometime we'll have to cut that off. Because they're just, you're gonna run out of space.
Oh.
There is an area out there that's wide open that in the long-range plan is for a third shelter. I'm a little hesitant to plant trees there. Not that, I was thinking today that before I quit this committee, Mr. Mayor, I'm gonna give you a list of the things that people have requested in the last couple of years that parks do.
No wish list?
It's 6 or 7 things. And I don't know where that list is right now, but I have it somewhere
Okay.
that I've been accumulating. And so, and then frankly, Kevin and I are getting, it's been a lot of work to take care of that project, and we're both getting a little tired of it.
I can only imagine.
It's a wonderful project though. It's very nice
I
project.
just wish I'd lived long enough to be able to see those trees in maturity. Let me think. I'm trying to think if there was something else.
We could always move it out to Route J.
Yeah.
When we run out of room, we can move it out to Route J.
Well, one of the things on that wish list is a project for Route J, disc golf. One of the things on that list is a handicap fishing dock at South Lake. I can't remember what. Oh, and then a couple of years ago, Mr. Watson's class that he teaches at school did a study on things that need to be done in our community. And they came up with some ideas for South Park. I think it was involved redoing the skating rink.
The basketball.
Yeah. They did a presentation to our committee a year and a half ago. It was really good. That may be all I had for tonight.
Do we need to vote on this?
I don't have the other bids.
From last time we opened.
No, I thought we'd have all the bids, but I don't have them.
They were all presented at the last meeting.
Yeah, I think we had narrowed it.
This was the bid the council wanted to go with, they just wanted more information on the bid.
Okay.
That's the bid that our committee.
So are you satisfied with
Did
this?
he say what the warranty was on it? Was it 20 years?
I think he's going down to get the original bids.
Okay.
Yeah, 'cause the other bid that we didn't really like, it was very detailed though,
Well,
right?
he doesn't
Yeah, the
say
other bid
what
was
the-
quite
he doesn't say
detailed,
what the
this one
guarantee
wasn't.
is on Owen's
I'm
scoring
pleased, I'm
relationship.
personally
I think it showed on the original.
But I think that was one of the questions Greg asked. was one.
My experience is it won't be whatever the warranty is.
Probably not. This is the, like I said before, this is the gentleman that did that, the blue house on North Main prior to the intersection with the turret by the post office.
Yours.
When do we, how are they gonna do this, like, right away, or?
Greg's been conversing with them, I don't know. It would really, be really nice to have that done before we get spring rain.
Well, even the
Very big
winter
heavy
snow and freezing cycle too.
Yeah. They probably, Alex might know when that possibility of getting it, because it's probably gotta be decent. I don't know if it can be below freezing or not to do it.
When I built my house, I put the shingles on one day when it wasn't 30 degrees.
Oh, wow.
Not desirable.
No.
Everyone in there looked at the inside.
Are there any other questions for me? Because this is my third night in a row of meetings and I haven't had supper. I'm not even until about 8:30.
Thank you.
Steve, thank you very much.
Thank you.
So much.
Have a good night. God bless you.
You know what my concern is?
What?
I don't know if this is gonna fix the problem.
It's a complete tear off.
Well, here's the part that I don't understand, because I'm not in this, line of business. It says snow and ice shield can be installed at customer's request on all eaves in any pitch condition, $2 per foot. Here's the one that caught my attention, all copper flashing can be replaced at customer's request for time and material cost. We can install snow and ice shield on any crickets and shingle over them. We will use standard step flashing and standard counter flashing. I have to admit, I don't understand what that means.
So can the copper flashing that's on there not be reused, I guess?
It's kind of a question. I guess the most appropriate question to ask is, are we gonna have a water leak if you do this?
Well, we've got one now.
A water leak now, we certainly do.
Still happening.
And we don't wanna have one when we get done paying this money.
This isn't the same group.
Alex, did you have the original quote from MHE?
I left that one downstairs if we have the more detailed one.
Well, but this one doesn't specify warranty years.
You want me to call them?
No, I mean, it's your call, what y'all wanna do.
And I can't say that every project he does is the same. I will tell you that one piece of property that we spoke of a minute ago, I knew I had two really bad spots, and I came home from work. Number one, it took them less than 48 hours to do a complete tear off of the unit. And I didn't only have two bad, rotten, completely rotten areas, I had closer to 8. And it was fixed and addressed and taken care of before, and it was all included. You know, because it was everything above and beyond. I can't say that that would be the same, but
Well, even if it was just the cost of material.
And the lady that lives there is a rip, so.
we're on tap, I think.
Well, none of these have a warranty on them. I don't see a warranty
I-
on this one either.
30
I
years.
didn't see, you said 30
on this
years?
first one.
Duration shingle
Is
is
it-
30 years.
It says 130 years, or 30 years, 130 miles per hour wind resistant. I don't know if that means, it just says duration is 30 years.
Okay. That's how long the shingle
But
should last.
but
Yeah,
it's
and a
not a
perfect
warranty.
Are the main leaks at right now? Is that the tower area? Or where are the main leaks?
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure what the description is, but I will say one thing, something interesting about this, prime roof quote. This does have what appears to be a, quote from patch. patch the area that's leaking.
The first one is a patch, the second one's a complete
Right.
rip off and
Right.
repair.
Well,
But we don't wanna just patch it
Well,
because there's no,
I don't know what the board wants to do. It's just that you've got a, for the purpose of visual appearance, looking at St. Jude's Church, the roof looks great.
right,
What we have is we have an issue of a leak that's in the southwest corner of the building. As you walk into the entrance, it would be to your left.
Is that where the tower's at?
I can't answer the question. I'd have to go over and try to visualize it and look at it, but I don't know. I've seen pictures of where the leak is at, and
Yes. I would
it would
say
appear
that
everything
is-
comes together as looks like a sink area is what it looks like. The area that where everything comes together, it looks like a depressed area. I'm not sure what the design criteria is for that. So what you have is let me see, 18.4 for MHE, 24 for
Parton.
I don't understand it, too.
Partain, and then you have
Regional.
15.5 for Prime.
And Greg has been the one that's been working with them, or did I misunderstand that?
Greg said, yeah. He was able to get the more detailed bid. I don't know anything about roofing, so I'm not.
What are our questions?
Excuse me?
The first questions are about the flashing.
Well,
Your second question is the structural.
you've got that if you're gonna do the entire replacement. Repair, MHE quoted repairs to St. Jude, and that would be, the assumption would be to fix, that they would identify what needs to be done to fix the leak. That's $1,800. You've got a similar quote, which is called a patch. This estimate's for the patch. The turn off the south side of the main building where the tower is for $7,000. You have two companies that have quoted both complete replacement and or a patch. And then you have, that's MHE and Prime. And then the quotation from Partain is a complete roof replacement new. One would assume that would be everything.
Is everything in good shape except for those spots that leak?
Excuse me?
Everything's good except for those spots?
That's an impossible question. You won't know that
There's
until he
no
tears
way
it
to
off.
100% know. There's no way to know that answer. You could spend $7,000 and
still have it leak
still
somewhere.
have an issue. Or you could spend 18,400 and
How old is the roof?
no one knows. It looks great. I mean, I know that doesn't mean anything.
So, I know that one of the last major renovations, my dad was involved in it. My dad's been gone for 14 years.
So Partain's saying it's only gonna take 34.55 hours to replace the roof. Does that seem less than 4 days?
It's 38 square. Looks to me.
I've seen several of those crews working, not only here in town, but other places. And the most amazing, phenomenal thing. And very possibly some of these other bidders, I've not seen the others. They come in with their own crew and it's fast, and there's 10 or
So-
15 of them.
They have a rhythm and they just.
They do,
sing
it's,
this.
cause I watched them a couple different times before I agreed to use them.
So MHE is not the cheapest.
No, they are not.
They're not the cheapest, they're also not the most expensive. I think that one thing we need to be thoughtful of is that when they tear this roof off, they may uncover hidden damage that's not covered in this. Matter of fact, I would be willing to bet you they are gonna find some damage. I'm just thinking about, I know what the inside looks like. I can only imagine what the roof might look like after however long this leak has been going on, so.
Well, we'll have that with any of them. None of them are gonna include the unknown.
I'm not suggesting they would. The only reason why I bring
They
this
are
up
cheap.
is
Is it could be more
to
than
let you
this.
all know, is that very likely it'll be more than whichever one you choose.
Right.
And that we need to discuss that now. How do we handle that overage? Because what's gonna happen, they're gonna come knocking on the door downstairs, say, hey, we found this section needs to be repaired. You're gonna have to get a contractor to come in and do it, or we can do it, it's gonna cost this much money. So I would suggest that you all, whichever bid you go with, that you allow a 15 or 20% overage or buffer, some sort of buffer by percentage basis, so that
Yeah.
we know that, well, if they come in and say we need another $3,000 to fix some sort of damage to the structure, we just go ahead and say, okay, get it done, because they're gonna have the roof uncovered, and we're not gonna be able to wait don't take this the wrong way, we're not gonna wanna wait 2 weeks. I realize
Between meetings.
under emergency authority, I could probably do it anyway, but I just want you to think about it.
Yeah, it makes sense.
You have given a sufficient justification for choosing MHE in the last meeting. All we really wanted was verification or so a little more detail. They provided that. So, what is your pleasure, board?
So do we say a motion for the bid amount plus 20% for any
I think that'll be okay.
change orders?
Danette? Okay, I need a motion to approve the quotation from MHE Roofing LLC in the amount of $18,400 plus a contingency of 20% for potential unknown expenses.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion from Alderman Snyder for to accept the bid from MHE Roofing LLC in the amount of $18,400 with a 20% added for contingency. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion second on the floor. All in favor say aye. All opposed say nay. Motion carried. We'll award that bid to MHE. That takes care, I believe, of everything that we had for Parks and Recreation. Move on, Economic Development.
Nothing at this time.
Okay, Administration, no meeting has been held, although we probably need to. Nuisance Review Board, Public Safety.
Nothing at this time.
We need one other than the budget meetings that we're gonna have, cause that would fall.
Yeah,
under-
I think we'll not right now. I hear where you're coming from.
Falls under that.
I have a couple. I have one ordinance that I want to send to admin to review. And come back with the recommendations. It's actually, well, it's complex, we'll get into it later. I won't keep you all any longer than you have to be tonight. We've been doing some really long ones. We got those coming up through the budget. Okay, next thing we have will be department reports. Police.
I've only got a couple of things. One, we're looking at a vehicle computer, which I believe is in your all's packets, for $263. The reason we are needing that is we have a vehicle that does not have, computer in it, and does not have the same type of mounting and docking system as our current MDTs. We're gonna be looking at $300 just to replace the mount. If we were to try to go to the same computers that we have in the other patrol cars, on top of having to get another tablet that's more expensive. So I'm asking if we can go with $263 just to get a laptop that'll fit what's already in there.
Okay. Need a motion to approve that.
I'll make a motion.
Motion on the floor to approve the expenditure of $263 for a computer for the police department. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion second on the floor to approve the expenditure of $263 from Amazon for the police department. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries. You got it.
I appreciate that, thank you. The second thing I have, this is not in your package, I do not believe. We did finally get the K9 car back, Patrol Car 103, after about a month and 2.5 weeks of repairs being made. We got almost everything covered under warranty. However, we did get a bill for $2,050. That is going to be for the number 8 injector that was shorting out due to wiring from previous wiring before we were able to get the vehicle, which also created substantial damage to both of the batteries inside of the car, which also had to be replaced, and then also the radiator developed a rather large leak and crack in the side of it, which also had to be replaced. So we did get billed for those. They were not covered under the warranty. However, covered was cam replacements, the other 7 injectors, lifters, valves, the active fuel management system was repaired, rewired, additional rewiring, and then also tuning for the vehicle. So we did get quite a few repairs done, but we are going to have to eat that $2,000 bill. So just wanted to make y'all aware of that. The last thing I have is just a reminder that tomorrow night here at 6 o'clock we'll be having the K9 Q&A meeting. I'd like to invite all of you all to come. It's also open to the public, so anybody who does have questions, feel free to come up and let us know. Otherwise, you can just come up and celebrate Athena's birthday with us.
6 to when?
It's 6 o'clock, and we'll go till whenever questions are answered and
Have you
everybody's.
gotten something out on that Zachary? Okay.
Other than that, that's all I have, unless anybody has any
Hey,
questions.
I'm just an FYI, because I know you're busy and shorthanded and all that, but I did get a call about the one house on Park Street. They've been talked about before, and I don't know if anybody's ever come up to the police department and said anything. You know which house I'm talking about?
Mhm.
Where Jody Evans used to live.
The 211 or 2 something,
The one by the park.
It's,
directly across from the park.
it's, no, not that one. It is where, it's
It's east of Kevin.
next to,
Is it down there by County
No.
Line Road?
Billy Joe Gill and, that one where Jody Evans
We're
lived.
aware of that one.
They are, I don't know if the dogs are still barking, but they're disgruntled about the stuff setting out. And they said that they were gonna, the neighbors are wanting to go together and get a lawyer. Cause they said that, we weren't following our ordinances. So I'm just bringing that to your attention.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do it.
Because I know you all have been over there and talked to them in the past, and maybe people from the neighborhood have filled out, I don't know.
Yeah,
But,
there's been nothing filed with us, but.
okay, so nobody's come up and done filed.
We have already.
What's that?
self-initiated.
Yeah, okay.
Calls or walk-ins
Yeah.
regarding it, no.
However, we have already self-initiated on that property anyway, so.
Oh,
we'll
okay.
Continue with that.
So I wanted to bring that to your attention.
Yep, I appreciate it. Anybody have anything?
That's,
Thank you, Chief.
I appreciate it, thank you.
George is not here. We'll
He
pass on
should be
water.
here. He's coming.
No, too late. Oh,
He said
okay.
he'd be here at
We'll,
7:20.
we'll address water when he gets here. I know he wants to spend some money on an electric motor. Electric department, gas, street, all the reports are in your, next thing, we'll go ahead and do airport, if there's something to be done for airport.
I had a meeting yesterday with, like, I can't remember his name, I didn't bring his card, from Homeland Security, came up and inspected our facility and put up signs, if you see something, say something, they're concerned about somebody flying in the middle of the night and delivering drugs or whatever they might do, which we haven't had anything. He was, impressed with our airport, he thought it looked really nice, I showed him that, well, I had security cameras, so he liked that, and he left us with some signs and said, see you next year.
Thank you very much.
That was easy.
Uh,
That was easy.
that was easy. Well, it took a lot longer than what I.
Well, yeah, but it's not like we have to do a bunch
I
of.
received a notification, but I didn't actually read the notification until about 2 hours after it over. I would have actually went out there to maybe learn something, I don't know.
It was pretty short notice, so I'm sorry about that.
Oh, yeah, don't be sorry, not a problem. Okay, we'll back up to water.
Just in time.
Yeah.
No, you were late, but go ahead.
I
You just
went
can't
as
win.
fast as I
can you,
could.
George?
As fast as I could.
Legally.
Did you want me to cover, talk about Black and Beach also?
Absolutely.
Okay, so I got a hold of Black and Beach, the engineers for the water plant, possible upgrades, and, they don't have anything for us yet. They're still working through DNR, trying to get them to allow us to put the chemical inside instead of building the building outside. So this is all taking a lot longer than what we had anticipated. So I told them that we really need something by the next council meeting. They said they don't know that they can get that, so I asked about the 19th, which would be the second meeting of next month, and they said they should be able to get us some sort of preliminary report at that point. Not sure if they're going to be able to put a dollar amount to it at that point, but that's what I told them that the mayor was really wanting. So
I would, well, go ahead with the rest of your report and I'll expand.
okay, then in the last month we've had some pump issues. One of them was at Mosswood Lift Station. One pump just quit on us, couldn't figure out what the deal was. We pulled it up out of the pit and the impeller had spun off, and the impeller's housing was called the volute, and it was hung on enough where it was continuing to spin. It chewed up the impeller, chewed up the volute. The pump had been picked up by Vandeventer Engineering, and they have it down there, but they haven't been able to get it into the shop yet to actually see what the cost is going to be to repair it. So I'll let you know then the next meeting what that one is.
What happens without that pump?
There's two pumps, so we're running off of the one pump.
Okay.
I do have an old pump that we pulled out because that lift station was replaced in the last 2 years. And I did save the one pump that was in the station that was still working, so if I had to, I could put it in, but redundancy is required. So like I said, I have a pump in the shop if I need to put it in. Now the big issue that we do have is the high service pump out at the water plant. One of the motors has went out. We had Richards Electric come over, diagnose what was going on with it, and they said that the motor itself megged bad. That's actually where you use a megometer and you run like 1,000 volts through the motor, and then it reads what comes out the other side, and if the closer to zero it is, means you have breaks in your windings or something, and it megged to zero. So essentially the motor was shot. So it's a 50 horsepower motor. It's a vertical turbine pump. We got the motor off, took it over to Richards, and they haven't been able to get it on the shop yet, at the table, but they're estimating that, it's gonna be between $4,000 to $6,000 to repair, just knowing what they know about the 50 horsepower motors, having them rewound. I did ask him, I said, well, what's a new motor cost? I figured it was gonna be 20,000, but, he said probably high end is gonna be 7,000, on a brand new motor. And then, it would be also more efficient. There will be some money on installation because we'll have to have an electrician come back in and do the install. We will actually do the heavy lifting, they will do, the rest of it. So I guess what I'm saying is for 7,000 plus 2,000 possible for installation, it won't go over 2,000, I'm sure. We could get a brand new motor, at the water plant. And now that one there, so we do not have redundancy. If the second motor would go out, I cannot send water to town.
So we're on the backup pump now.
There's two operating pumps, so if you wanna call it backup, you can, but there's one and two.
Balanced.
Yeah, we are on one pump right now, yes. So we got it pulled and over there as fast as we could, and so that happened, I believe earlier this week, and because I've been out of town working at a different water plant, so I've been keeping up and being on phone with vendors. So
Lead time?
lead time, the one's in Chicago, so we're looking at if I was to tell them to order it tomorrow morning, it would probably be here Monday morning.
The thought of running on one pump kind of concerns me.
It scares me.
Perfect. What do you need for this board to do?
I need the board to tell me to order the best pump at the cheapest price for, because and with the shortest lead time. So I don't know, it's probably gonna be between 5,500 and 7,000 for the pump plus a $500 shipping.
So 7,500 for the motor and 2,000 for installation.
Yes.
And call it 10 grand.
Let's call it 10 grand.
And approval from the board to expend up to $10,000 for replacement of the vertical pump number 2 at the water plant.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion on the floor to approve expenditure up to $10,000 for replacement of the vertical pump at the water plant. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion second on the floor to approve the purchase for the electric motor for the pump at the water plant. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries.
Okay, and that is just the motor, not the pump. The pump is
It's
okay.
it's the motor
just
for the pump.
It is the motor for the pump. I just wanted to make sure that Danette got it correct in the minutes. So, who do I go to first?
Are we still planning to fix the old one to have it as a spare?
I will get an estimate on that.
Okay.
There will be a cost if I have them go ahead and tear it down and take a look at it. And I can let the mayor know what it is, and then they'll hold it for a little while, so
Right.
it's not gonna be something we have to jump right on, but yes, I will.
Okay. And how quickly can the electricians get it?
Well, as soon as we get it installed, they'll be here.
Okay.
Now, I gotta check and see, but the motors mount to a frame, which then mount to the pumps. There's a chance that, I believe both of the motors don't look exactly the same, so they may, if we did that, it would only serve as a backup for the motor we're replacing.
Right.
And if it sits on the shelf for, 15 years, it might not be good at that point.
Yeah,
So,
I probably wouldn't spend the money.
yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
point. So it's gonna cost us to even find out how much it is.
yeah, because they are gonna have to tear it down and
Right.
take a look at
Right.
it. And it's only gonna
Not
be
worth.
hundreds of dollars, not
Right.
thousands, to have them tear it down and take a look at
And
it.
it's not something that goes out often.
No, you cross your fingers it doesn't, but let me check and see if the frames would work. And if
Right.
so, then it might be beneficial to consider having it rebuilt and go ahead and just be proactive and change the motor on the other other, pump, cause I don't, well, Matthew, however long Matthew's been with the city, or between the city and people service, 10 years, he does not know, or it's never been replaced. So they are pretty old.
What's the lifetime typically on something like that? I guess
5 to
it's
10 years,
Yeah.
really is what they suggest, that you go ahead and rebuild.
Yeah.
In that time frame, and so it's outlived its normal life. So, but that is all I have. But you said something else.
Yes, the reason for the inquiry for, with Black and Veatch was to try to get an estimate on what we can, expect for the upgrades to the water treatment facility that this board has already discussed and essentially approved. Reason being that we included an estimated $497,000 in total capital expenditures. 350 of that, for a total of $496,000. 350,000 of that was for expected upgrades to the water plant for the chloramines and dioxide, and 47,500 was for the engineering for total of $434,000. Why is that important? It's important because I need to go back to the electric department and explain to you that by the time we're done with the industrial park substation, barring some influx of cash, the electric department fund balance will be a negative $645,000 at the end of this next fiscal year. Without some infusion of cash to the water department, it will come in at a negative $127,000 at the end of the next budget year. So consequently, because the $1.3 million estimate for, we already spent 1.1, for the industrial park substation catastrophe was unplanned, unexpected, and therefore not budgeted. We'll spend about $1.3 million of unplanned expenses on the industrial park substation. We have an additional roughly $300,000 we're probably looking at, maybe closer to $700,000 on the electric department 5-point plan that we talked about. So I've contacted McClaney Associates, who's the fiduciary for the $20 million bond that the voters approved a couple of years ago, of which we've touched $0. And we're going to be looking at borrowing somewhere probably around 1.7 or 1.8 million dollars for a 20-year term at whatever best interest rate we can get, and that will be part of that will be utilized to put the 1.3 million dollars, if that's what we spent out of electric and general revenue fund for the unplanned expenditure industrial park. We'll put that back into general revenue and or that amount removed from the electric department, put those back into those funds, and that will bring them back to where they would have been had we not had that catastrophe. Similarly, we will be, part of that money will be the $390,000 expected for, and that's a high-end number, by the way, for the water plant upgrades, and that will allow us to also replace money that is shown being removed from the water plant fund or water fund that ends up causing that negative 127. All this money's already in here. That's why you have the negative numbers. So we're looking to borrow that money to put it back in to these, which will add about a little over $700,000 back into the budget. That's why I'm asking all these questions, to try to get all these dollar amounts put together so we have the right amount or hopefully the right amount, to get the McClowney and Associates to work on getting a loan. That's what we're up to, that's what we're gonna do, so we'll be having more discussions about that during our, budget meeting. So moving right along from Mosswood. Nothing there, so next thing on the agenda, item number 11 is presentation of bills and approval payments. Find that under tab 11.
On the, Roberts Garage on the fire vehicle.
It was prior to October
Prior to
1.
October,
We
okay.
both addressed that separately,
Cool.
looking at the dates.
Cool.
Yes. Hopefully that's our last hoorah.
Hey, Jeanette.
But it's a good call, Mike. I'm glad you called
I
it.
saw
Yes.
that too. On these, MPUA, the 205,636.
That's electric.
Okay, and then there's a 30,000 to the city of Monroe. What's that?
Utilities.
That's our utilities.
We're now,
Explain.
explain that. I know why we have to do it.
We are, for a while, we were not accounting for our expenses for services in our budget. And now we are accounting for those because we are actually using those services.
Well, if we don't do that, we don't have an amount to put into each of the funds for the utility usage. And by the way, the water plant uses a tremendous amount of electricity every month. Tremendous amount, we're like 20,000. Huh? $22,000 a month for electric.
Turn your lights
So,
out.
so,
Water or
so
wastewater?
they have to reimburse, the electric department, the water department, they have to reimburse the appropriate entity for utilities used, otherwise you have this
Right.
big gaping hole at the end of the year, and you don't know where it went.
Yeah.
So we used to do it, and for some reason they stopped, so we're picking up all the accounting that should be done.
Sales
Mhm.
tax.
Was it G-Works you were trying to consider
I
deleting?
said it's because they stopped everything paying sales tax.
Can we do a biannual renewal fee if that's the case?
It is an annual fee, yeah.
There's no option for.
We can't go 6 months? So then if we do this, we're stuck with them for a year?
Well, if we do go with a different software company, it would take months to get it implemented and into
Probably 12, 18
operation.
months.
So I don't feel like I don't think this expense would go wasted, because it would take quite a while to get things, like all the conversions
Transferred
done
and-
and everything, yeah.
Gotcha. That's
You know,
fair.
we're gonna have to have a administration committee meeting on our software that we use in City Hall. I can't believe it's been updated since 1995. It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible.
What is it?
G-Works.
Used to be
Yeah.
called data.
I apologize if I'm insulting anybody, I'm not attempting to, I don't wanna insult the software manufacturer, the designer, the
I'm surprised
makers,
it still works at
it
all.
just don't work for us.
Well, it doesn't appear that it works for anybody really, but if it's still, if that transition, no matter what, it's gonna be,
$80,000.
oh, Lord. Okay.
Isn't that right, about 80?
Would you like to cut a check and consider it a donation?
Well, I'm thinking we're gonna be at the
Bake sale?
intersection every weekend for the
Yeah.
Good to
No,
know.
for the rest of
Absolute
25.
fit.
No way.
That's a whole different.
I don't disagree, but
You
it's
know,
for a good cause, the city of Monroe.
I think something is, this might not be the right time, Adrian, but you know, this is a spreadsheet that I know has been in use since 1999, because I've looked at every one from 99 all the way up to now. Don't ask me why, it's just a mental thing. But every month, someone had to sit down and transfer all of the data that they had into each one of these lines, every one of these lines, every month manually.
Oh my gosh.
So the budget.
So, and you wanna know how much time, we say, well, one minute, Gary used to leave here at 7, 8 o'clock at night, you know that.
So we wonder where our loopholes went when we ran out of, when we had staffing issues and
Yeah, things just didn't
turnover
get done.
rates, things just didn't get
If-
done
If we had,
in an antiquated
So there's no
system.
budgeting program in the software, then, is what you're saying?
There's a place to input your budget, it does not.
It doesn't track, well, it doesn't talk, does it? It doesn't, okay.
it doesn't do what this would do
It
if it
doesn't.
was being maintained.
So it's a manual entry, so there's
But
always
guess
a
what?
risk of.
The new software would allow us to do the appropriate financial review hourly, daily, weekly, monthly, semi-annually, quarterly, whatever the heck we want to do. It's all right there right now. And it only has to be put in one time. We have to take it from here to here to here, or however I might exaggerate it,
I understand.
on a separate Excel spreadsheet that's highly prone to input error. Don't ask me how I know. So yeah, we're gonna have to have a discussion, and probably another thing for administration to dig into and take a look at.
Okay.
When we get time. I'm
Thank
hoping
you.
that you're all still here to help do that.
You're really making it exciting to try to find that.
That Fletcher Reinhardt's for light fixtures, was that for street lights? Was that a whole
They always
pallet?
ask it up. I don't think so.
How many is
She
a pallet? Yeah.
I would entertain a motion to approve the bills payable.
I'll make a motion.
There be no further questions.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion second on the floor to approve bills payable. All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say nay. The bills are approved. The next thing we have on the agenda is new business. And this is bill number 16, an ordinance authorizing and directing the mayor of the city of Monroe City, Missouri to quit claim certain real estate to the Monroe City Area Fire Protection District. Be found under tab 12.
And this is the fire station.
Yes, it is. What you have, bill number 16, is the ordinance authorizing and directing the mayor of the city of Monroe City, Missouri to quit claim certain real estate to Monroe City Fire Protection District, and I should actually say Monroe City Area Fire Protection District, but I think for the purpose of this will be sufficient.
Is this also that one building they got stuff in? Across the, okay.
This is for, be it ordained by the Board of Aldermen of the City of Monroe City, Missouri as follows. Section 1, the mayor of the City of Monroe City, Missouri is hereby authorized and directed to enter into an agreement with Monroe City Fire Protection District to quit claim the real estate in the City of Monroe City, Missouri described as follows. Fire station located at 135 Summer, Monroe City, Missouri. Lots 1, 2, and 3, and the east 10 feet of Lot 4 in Block 4 of Pearsall addition to Monroe City, Missouri.
I'll make a motion to approve bill number 16.
We have a motion on the floor to approve bill number 16. All in favor say aye.
Need a second.
Yes, okay.
I'm sorry, we have a second? Well, thank you. We have a motion and a second on the floor to approve bill number 16. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Need a motion for the second reading?
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion on the floor for the second reading of bill number 16, the orders authorizing and directing the mayor of the city of Monroe City, Missouri to quit claim certain real estate to Monroe City Fire Protection District. By voice?
Second.
Have a second?
Second.
Of course we do. Have a second from Adrian Saunders.
Alderman Quinn,
Yes.
Alderman Saunders, sorry.
Yes.
Alderman Osborne,
Yes.
Alderman Simpson.
Yes.
Alderman
Yes.
Okay.
Second reading passes. Are we done? All right. Next thing on the agenda is unfinished business. Be there any unfinished business?
No.
That's great. Believe it or not, yes, ma'am. You can handle it.
No, it was just a gesture.
That was like a bye.
Like we're done.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We have a motion on the floor to adjourn. We have a second.
Second.
No
We have a
closed
motion,
session.
a second.
No closed session.
No.
It's nothing
I
on
think we need to
there.
vote on it if we didn't have, or, I get, oh, it's just a bullet
It
point.
just said
It's
it,
not with
and,
that,
and we didn't
all that
address
other-
the, didn't address.
We didn't cite anything.
Yeah,
for it,
okay,
so.
that's,
So we have a motion and a second on the floor to adjourn. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All in favor say no. We're in adjournment. Thank you all very much. It's been an awesome meeting.